And I do believe that we are now live on Facebook. So just a few things before we get started. Welcome everybody. I'm Celeste Cosentino. I'm the Executive Artistic Director of Ensemble Theater. And welcome to, I believe this is the 12th of our Monday night series, where we are reading very short plays by local playwrights with local actors, a kind of way to stay connected during this strange time of COVID and where you have to social distance and theater is being challenged unlike any other time it has been in my lifetime. So the wonderful group of Stage Rights people came up with this fantastic way to get together and do theater in a way that is new and interesting and, you know, does in a lot of ways cross some boundaries. The one positive thing that I do think has come out of COVID is that Zoom does allow you to kind of interact with people who are not necessarily in your city or, you know, your vicinity. So it's crossing a little bit of boundaries that way. And so, yeah, it's been a wonderful way for us as artists to stay connected. I know some of the people in the Zoom are people who have been patrons and subscribers of Ensemble. So that's a great way for them to stay connected to us while we are shuttered until we can open again. I'm very excited that there is now a vaccine on the horizon. It is getting into people's arms. I hope that that just continues to be the case so that we can get back to doing this again in person sooner rather than later. I think we're coming on, you know, tomorrow or yesterday or the day before yesterday was a year that we had gone into shutdown. So we were literally hitting that year mark just this past week. And so, yeah, it's been a very interesting time to say the least. So wonderful people in our Stage Rights group, Agnes and a couple of other people were talking about these wonderful short plays that Barbara Harkness had written. And Barbara Harkness, if you are members of the audience or Stage Rights who did not know her, was a wonderful, dedicated member of Stage Rights for many, many years. A local, as in Northeast Ohio, because of course she was from Kent, playwright who actually we did one of her plays during one of our Columbia New Plays Festival. I can't remember the exact year. We did Zebediah. And she was just a great person, an amazing plethora of experiences in her life. So I could see why her plays would be so wonderful, because it does take great material to write such wonderful scripts. And her life was one that was filled with quite a bit of adventure. And I only knew her for a very short period of her life. So I can only begin to understand how amazing the rest of it was from the stories that we've heard from her family and the wonderful connection that we've had with them. So what I will do right now actually is I will turn the stage over before we actually get the reading started really quickly to her family. And I'm going to actually spotlight Dennis here, and they're going to share a little bit about Barbara with you before we go ahead into the reading of the 3 scripts. I'll just take the screen back when you are done and we're ready to go ahead and read the plays. So I'll give me a second here, the spotlight Dennis, and then if you want to go ahead and share your screen.
I did share my screen. Can you see it?
I can, and I'm going to mute myself. I'll keep my video on, but I'll mute myself. So the stage is technically yours.
All right. Sounds very good. Well, first of all, let me just thank you all for inviting us to this. I would like to do a little bit by way of a background on Barbara, but I do want you to know, and you've talked, I think, briefly to Mark, her son, Mark Harkness, who is there. And there are also quite a few of my family and not only my own immediate family, but my siblings. So I believe, and then finally, we have a number of folks from Mexico. I didn't see all of the names there, but these were all part of her blended family, wonderful blended family. And maybe at the end, after I make some remarks, I'll get each one of them to at least introduce themselves so that you know who they are. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Dennis Curley, and I am Barbara Harkness's favorite son-in-law, only one. And but really, on behalf of all of our families, really want to again thank you not only for this reading, but also at the 90th birthday party that we had for Barbara, where several plays were done as well. Basically, at her 90th birthday party several years ago, thanks to Laura, we brought in about 100 of her closest friends, coming from almost everywhere, from Kent, of course, but Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Richmond, Virginia, Florida, Arizona, Washington State, Chicago, and especially Mexico. So that gives you an idea of the breadth of her fan club, as a matter of fact, family and friends. Pardon me. And at that, as I mentioned, at her 90th birthday party, one of the things that you folks did was a play called Tony Bennett Smiled at Me. And I believe it's also one of the ones you're doing tonight. Additionally, there was I Am a 10-Minute Play that were. And I have to tell you, though, it was really a great thrill for her. I know she really wanted family and friends to be able to see those plays. Some folks never had that opportunity, so it was a terrific opportunity for them. But before we get too far, just a little bit of background on our tiny giant, Barbara. For starters, here's a wedding picture, a little bit older, but it's not blurred. That's how fast she moved. It was very difficult to catch her on camera. Besides the wedding, though, post-wedding, she almost immediately moved into where she would spend most of her time, her kitchen. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to see her or talk to her, as a general rule, you had to go to the kitchen, which was a general rule. At the same time, she had a family group that were gradually growing, some of her husband Bruce's children, and as well as now some of her in-laws, such as myself and our children. But one of the few times she actually came out of the kitchen, although you can see it close there, was holding our youngest daughter many years ago. And that was one of the few things that would bring her out. But she was amazing as far as a cook and entertainer, not just with plays, but she would put on these massive holiday dinner parties, 3-4 courses. And it was something that took her just days to do. As a matter of fact, one of her post-retirement career moves was as a cookbook author, Julia Child Harkness. But some of these feast preparations went way into the night. And so, as you can see, sometimes we would find her literally asleep on the kitchen floor, having worked the better part of the night, and then just kind of collapsing where she was. Even the cats enjoyed that, as you can see. But she really did it all. Many titles. She was, of course, as I think most of you know, an anthropology professor at Kent. And here she is getting her doctoral degree. Dr. Harkness, one of many titles. And related to her teaching of anthropology, she also participated in some archaeological digs in Mexico, France, Illinois, Southern Ohio, and so forth. Indiana Harkness, another title. She early on took student groups to Mexico. And that, as you can see in Mexican garb, is Senorita Harkness. And as a result of this, she first met and then got very, very, very attached initially, and adopted, and the Rubios adopted her. Wonderful Mexican family, and a couple of their older children, Yoseli and Wilber, stayed for with them for a year or two. Went to school in Kent, and their younger siblings, Manolo and Gregorio, were there much longer, first as teenagers and then later. Manolo, as a matter of fact, lived in Kent until very recently. And now he and his older sister, Yoseli, who had been there, are in Florida. And Gregorio and Manolo and I'm sorry, Gregorio and Wilber are in Merida, Mexico, which is where they all lived. We were fortunate enough just about a year and a half ago to go down and visit our Mexican family. So it was a relationship, and she was kind of the glue for all of it. And literally, she was the Energizer Bunny in every way. And if you knew her, you knew that. She just never stopped. Those of us in family could never keep up with her. And her husband, Bruce, always joked that her knees didn't bend. But that was really no joke, except when she was gardening, where you sort of have to do that. And that had been a passion of hers all along. But as she grew younger, she became even more of a master gardener with a beautiful, beautiful yard that she took care of. Then one of her other post-retirement, non-retirement jobs came into day trading. She began doing day trading, and although it didn't necessarily go as well as might have been hoped, she did make the front page of the Wall Street Journal middle article. And the first two words of it, she hadn't told us about this, of course, but I happened to see it at work. The first two words were Barbara Harkness. And she said, oh, well, I talked to some people. I never thought anything would come of it. So typically very self-effacing, didn't even bother to tell us. But then at the ripe young age of about 79, she took up playwriting. Here are some pictures from Tony Bennett Smiled at Me from her 90th birthday party when you good folks put those plays on. She then was the Wild Harkness, all puns intended, as based on some of the plays you'll see tonight, well deserved. Now, she really had some serious major health problems after retirement. But again, she minimized all of them, so much so that she often didn't even tell us. And finally, at one point, one of the doctors said, you have got to call them. They have got to come to you. So, but at the same time, probably one of the things that helped her was she never stopped daily exercise. It had been swimming for many years, but then she did quite a few other types of exercise later, again, always. And it probably did help give her strength. Now, besides some of the plays that you folks put on in Cincinnati here, quite a few of her plays were done by the Cincinnati Playwrights. And she was fortunate enough to have those done by that group. We were, all of the Curleys, not only my family, but also most of my siblings, we were fortunate enough to see quite a few of those plays, which was just terrific. So, it was a great opportunity, and so glad we had it. Glad we'll be able to see some of these now tonight. She also was extremely active, as most of you know, in virtually every type of activity at her church. Deacon Barber, literally deacon. And her Pastor Amy told me that sometimes when there was some downtime, she would literally be working on her plays there, even printing sections of the script. But to give you an idea of just how big her adult extended family, this is no children, this is strictly adult, was, you can see that here's this blended family from all over the country in Mexico. And virtually, I think all of them were in this picture at this before the memorial session that we had, just a year and a half after her 90th birthday party. And so the play roles that she played best of all were as mother and grandmother Harkness, wife, mother, and even great grandmother. And she truly did create a very large, blended family, blended in every way. And her home was a second home for many. My family, for all of the Rubio folks, even some of my siblings and friends and so forth, really a second home. And one of the interesting things from her 90th birthday party, besides another view of some of the play, was that even people who didn't know her recognized some of her exceptional talents. I overheard one of the servers at the party say that she must have been quite a lady, and she was. Excuse me. So tonight, again, many thanks to all of you in the Ensemble Theater of Cleveland for both making her 90th birthday party so special and now presenting this celebration of her playwriting achievements. She would have been just as thrilled, I think, as we all are. So bravo, Barbara. And now if we could just, I would like to ask, and maybe we can unmute some folks. If we could do that, would like to make sure that everybody got a chance to at least say hi, so you would have an idea and given, kind of their relationship. So here with us, I have my wife, Laura, my youngest daughter, Mary.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, and
Yes,
folks,
if
you can do any-
if family members, if family members want to unmute and say a few words, if you stop your screen sharing, Dennis, it will focus on them on the center of the screen if that's what you'd like as well.
I would do that.
So actually, let me get it back here into speaker view. So if you guys want to just go ahead and go one at a time, if Mark, you want to unmute, I guess, and then if you want to put in the chat the next person who wants to speak, that way it'll focus the center big screen that we're live streaming on whoever's speaking.
Sounds good.
Whoever.
Who gets to follow me, but I picked Manolo. Anyway, it's good to see everybody. Some of these faces are new to me, but a lot are not. So it's pretty wonderful to be able to do this. I know that, you were saying earlier that, the Zoom has been able to do a lot of good things during this pandemic, but, we're all ready for it to be done and over with. And I don't know if Mom would have been able to survive this. We wouldn't have been able to keep her inside the house. There's no way, she would have been out and about and doing everything she could. But I know that this part of, her life and everything was just so important to her, as the trips to Cleveland and the evening and the snowstorms, certainly can attest to. But thank you. Okay. That's my wife telling me what I should be doing. So I'm Mark, by the way, Mark Harkness. So thank you, Jamie. So, but anyway.
Some things don't change at all during pandemics. So that's true.
No. So, but yeah, she loved the group. It was, really something that she put her heart and soul into. And so, having the ability to have this come back around a little bit, later, afterwards is very nice. And, Dennis, thank you for the wonderful words. And pictures too, although I don't like a couple of me, but that's okay. You know, it's,
I was like, that's what family pictures do best, is embarrass
Right.
us all. So
Right.
yes, we're there with you.
yeah, but, yeah, no, thank you very much. So appreciated. And, whoever wants to speak next can.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to go next, just feel free to unmute yourself and yep, there you go.
I'll go next if that's okay. As Mark said.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manolo Rubio, and I truly had the privilege of growing up with the Harknesses. And as Mark said, you know, it's real nice to really hear some of you talk, and it brings back a lot of memories, especially because I had a chance to go to some of these meetings that she had, some of them in Cleveland. I know during the week she would really take the time to go to these writing groups a couple of times out of the week, and she really enjoyed them. She would do them as much as she could. There were times she wasn't able to make them, but I know that she would really put the time to try and make it to all of them. I probably had a chance to attend in Cleveland, maybe half of them. Some of those pictures that didn't show, you know, I was actually in some of them as well. So it was really nice to see them, brought back a lot of memories. Did a lot of research. I vividly remember talking to her, you know, she would make comments about some of the stories that she would develop. Some was based on history. A lot of research. I know that even during times of travel and trips that she would make, she always had her laptop take out and just write down all her ideas and just start writing down until, you know, she was done with those theories. So it was really nice. She went through a lot of stages. I mean, she was just brilliant. I mean, she would, as a professor, you know, with a financial advisor, you know, she's done right, and it just really made me believe that she had 2 years with anything she had her mind. And so I was really impressed by that. Just wonderful, just wonderful. Those are memories I can play like just. I'm missing the way she would come up with ideas. I really don't know how many of them she had overall. Maybe I know that she got quite a bit of them. And that's it.
Wonderful. I don't know if yes. If you want to go ahead and mute, yeah, you're good. And then if there is I'm looking through my list here to make sure if there is anybody else who wanted to speak. If you can actually raise your hand, I'll see you. Todd and Eileen, yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and unmute, I will give you the stage. Well, actually, Zoom will technically give you the stage if you are the only one who is.
Hi, I'm Eileen Curley Talon. I'm Dennis's oldest sister. And I first met Barbara and Mark, I might add, when Dennis and Laura got married. And I saw Barbara several times after that. She was one of the sweetest people I've ever known. And Tom, my husband, also met her after we were married, but I knew her long before we were married.
I only had the pleasure of meeting her once, and that was at, I believe, Rachel's wedding in the Panera Bread, and she was delightful, as you would expect. But unfortunately, I have not had the opportunity, so I'm really looking forward to hearing this.
That's wonderful to hear. Oh, that's great. And Paul, I mean, is there anybody else? Yes, please raise your hand if there's something you would like to say. Yes, Paul, go ahead.
Well, I'll just keep it short. I'm Dennis's older brother, and I met Barbara at Dennis and Laura's wedding. but saw her mostly after I retired in 2003. I attended several of her performances here in Cincinnati, and they were always interesting. As
wonderful.
I said, I kept it short.
And actually too, if we want to go ahead, we can save some time in between and at the end for some speakers as well, if they'd like. Is there anybody else who, before we go ahead into the actual script readings, who want to say anything? Raise your hand now. Let me see if I
Sure.
can see where any of, yes, David, there you are.
Absolutely.
Bear with me.
I too
Bear
will
with
be
me.
brief.
I see so many heads, so it took me a second to get to you, but it's all you. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Thanks. So my name's David Curley, and I'm Dennis's son, and I am Barbara's favorite grandchild.
Nice.
So it's, I can only echo what everyone said, and I wouldn't be anywhere near as eloquent as my father, but she truly was the most remarkable of women. And the magical thing about your organization and the other organizations that she was involved in her playwriting career, in her third or fourth career, who can count, is that you guys really did invigorate her golden years in a way that I'll only do minor justice to by sharing one brief anecdote. I remember towards the end of her life, she was adamant that I needed to come to the house to fix the Wi-Fi to her computer so that she could continue to work on her plays. So even in the end, her mind was always on the go, as my father put it. And you all were such a big part of that. So I really do appreciate the way that you have sort of fanned the flames of her creativity. And I appreciate you keeping that fire burning after she's passed. So thank you from all of us. That's all I have to share tonight.
Thank you so much for your words. Having inherited a theater company from my mother who has passed, I understand keeping the flame burning, that is for sure. Kat, you wanted to say something before we start? Yes, go ahead, it's you.
I just wanted to say something that I said at Barbara's 90th birthday party and also at her memorial. I would love to have copies of some of her plays, and I have many of them. Some of them are just drafts, but they're hard copies. And I would love it if we would maybe pool together like all of our copies and make a collection of her work. I don't know if it would be cool with the family if we could, somehow publish that, even do publishing on demand or something, so that the people that would really love to have that little remembrance of her could have it. I'd be happy to give you, go through my giant boxes of plays from the ensemble group. I've kept, I kept many of them, and probably most of them, probably too many of them. But I still have many of Barbara's, and I would be very willing to share the ones that I have. And I would love it if you all could look in your file cabinets and possibly share the ones that you have as well. I think that would be delightful, because I would love to read the ones I haven't read yet. So
wonderful. That's a great idea. I can do something a little bit post tonight to facilitate that conversation if we would like, because I think, that would be a great idea.
Cool.
I think that would be
just a note. I do have quite a few of those electronically that I can pass on. I got to be a computer support a lot of times, and we actually did 3 or 4 books. Again, as you said, self-published books.
Yeah,
so I've got some of those as well. But so maybe afterwards, as you said, we can orchestrate something.
I would love to just have those for my play collection. But yeah, if you guys wanted to make those, if you're publishing the ones that you have on demand, I'd be happy to buy those. So, I'd love to have those as souvenirs. So, yeah. Anyway.
Thank you for that wonderful suggestion, Kat. I think that's a great idea. So then, without further ado, yes, Cindy, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a member of the Stage Right, so I've known Barbara since the first time she came. She was my role model. I would be panicky driving 20 minutes in the snow. This woman would come from Kent, and not only would she come with fabulous scripts, she'd come with bounty from the garden. This was in summer, not in winter. There was something just so generous about her spirit, whether it was, shown in the tomatoes she brought, or in the wonderful wit that she exhibited, and certainly in her plays. So
Yeah.
it was a pleasure knowing her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. So many wonderful things. I mean, which makes sense because she was a wonderful lady, a very wonderful lady. So without further ado, I will go ahead and introduce our first piece at the Potting Shed. And what I will do is I will ask all the actors, and Jacqueline, you are our stage manager, wonderful stage direction reader. If you guys all want to turn your video on, and then if you are not in at the Potting Shed, if you could please turn your video and your sound off. And then whenever you are ready, Jacqueline, the stage is yours. If you would love to introduce the script and the actors and take us into our first reading, that would be wonderful.
So I guess we'll start with introducing the actors. So Alice is going to be playing Henrietta. Lena is playing Margaret. Dominic is playing, what's your official title in this? Sergeant or?
Deputy.
Deputy. And Agnes, no wait, Paul. Paul is playing Howard. So those are the characters and the actors for tonight.
And Lena is playing Margaret.
Yeah, she said that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, never mind.
You got it.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
You can. And what I'll do, everybody, I'll also share the link in the chat to the 10-Minute Plays website we have that has a complete list of the cast as well. So you can make reference to that later on if you need to. Jacqueline, the stage is yours. I'm going to turn off my video and my sound.
Okay. And I forgot to say, I'm also at one point going to be playing dispatcher. So, okay. At the Potting Shed, a 10-minute play by Barbara M. Harkness. Scene opens in a potting shed. At the bench, the gardener owner, Henrietta, a woman who could be anywhere from 65 to 95, has ceased from her work to talk with her daughter Margaret on her cell phone. She has obviously been doing some transplanting from the evidence of small plants in seed trays, the presence of 3-in pots, gardening tools in a gardener's bag, instructional sheets pinned on the walls, and the usual accoutrements of a potting shed, such as buckets and used pots on the floor, as well as bags of mulch, fertilizer, and soil conditioner. The woman is in deep conversation. An emergency lifeline hangs like a pendant from her neck. Although Henrietta is alone on stage, telephone voices, though somewhat muffled, can be heard distinctly throughout the play. The potting shed has a small greenhouse attachment, but only the potting area is visible on stage.
It's not dark here yet. It's May. Oh, you've lived in California so long, you forget what it's like back here, even with daylight savings time.
I know what time it is there. It's nearly 8 o'clock, and I know what kind of light there is, and I know how soon it is going to be dark. You should not be putting around in that shed alone, not at this hour. You are wearing your lifeline, aren't you?
Yes, of course. You're making something out of nothing.
It has to be something. It was enough that you mentioned it.
Only because I heard it just before you called, but it stopped as soon as the phone rang. It was strange, that's all.
Mother, please just stop what you're doing. Close up shop for the day and go to the house.
I will. I just want to get this rosemary transplanted and put it out under the shrubs to harden.
Rosemary, I thought you were doing feverfew for their medicinal garden.
Oh, the feverfews in the greenhouse section. The rosemary's for the aroma culinary plants.
You can finish tomorrow. Mom? Mom, are you there?
Henrietta stands very straight, listening hard, and stares straight ahead.
Mom? Mom, are you all right?
Yes, yes, thought I heard something, but it wasn't anything.
Mother, please, go to the house, wash your hands, and watch some TV.
Margaret, there's no one out there. The motion light would go on.
Mother, if the motion light goes on, it's too late. Please don't be stubborn. Go to the house.
Okay, but it's just the noise the animals that live in our woods make, and you know they can make a lot of noise.
Mother, promise me you'll go back to the house.
Okay.
Mother, if you hear anything more, use your lifeline. You are wearing it, aren't you?
Yes, of course. That's for if I fall or hurt myself or have a heart attack.
No, it's also for when you're frightened. An aged woman living alone is vulnerable. There's all kinds of freaks and crazies out there.
You're just trying to scare me.
You're damn right I'm trying to scare you. Mother, it just makes sense. If you insist on living alone, at least minimize the risk. It's getting dark. You heard something unusual. Go to the house, please.
Okay, I will. Love you.
Love you too. Are you on your way to the house now?
Oh, just tidying up a bit. I'll go. I promise.
Good. It's just because I worry, Mom. I'm so far away. Love, bye. Oh, if only you get a dog.
You know why I won't get a dog. Love you. Bye. I know you're concerned. I appreciate that. Bye.
Henrietta finally clicks off the phone, places it in her pocket, and returns to transplanting, talking to herself as she does. During the conversation with herself and her back to the audience, a shadow is seen lurking by the right shed window.
Could never have said anything to Margaret. Always jumps to the worst case scenario. I would know if something was amiss. It was probably a deer. It's the time of day when they go scratching around. Of course, they scratch around anytime, except in the afternoon if it's hot. They want me to bring cookies. When can I bake cookies? Feverfew and rosemary is enough. No cookies, not this time.
She suddenly freezes in place, then furtively looks to her right and to her left. Seeing nothing, she walks to either side of the shed, peering into the distance, still seeing nothing.
The deer don't usually come this close to the shed when I'm in here working. Oh, well, I'll be finished soon.
Margaret has called her brother Howard, Henrietta's son. Their conversation is heard as Henrietta putters around in the potting shed.
I'm in the car on my way home. Can we talk about this after I get there?
Pull over somewhere. You know I would not be calling you on a whim. I'm worried, seriously worried.
I can't pull off in the middle of Jefferson Highway. Keep talking. I'll pull off at the next exit, but I have to get in the right lane. What happened this time that's so damn different?
She's out there working in the potting shed and she's hearing strange noises.
Is that all? And I'm pulling off the freeway because Mom's hearing noises?
Yes, God damn it. Being 5 minutes late for your supper is hardly a major catastrophe.
I'm stuck in a long line getting off this ramp. Go ahead and talk. What's with Mom?
We have got to get her in an assisted living facility.
Good luck. Margaret, I'm in the middle of weary and cranky rush hour traffic, and you pull me off onto more weary and cranky drivers trying to exit a ramp that was designed for horse and buggies just to tell me that we need to put Mom in an assisted living home, something we've been trying to get her to do since Dad died. Give me a break.
In the shed, Henrietta once again becomes frozen, listening intently. As Howard and Margaret converse, she cautiously peers from both sides of the shed into the distance.
There's something about this time that is sending off alarm bells. She's working in the potting shed. She's hearing noises, unusual noises, like walking, like people walking. She knows what kind of noises deer make. This is not some four-footed creature. Besides, four-footed animals don't sneeze like humans, and whatever this is, it sneezes like maybe someone allergic to the woods around her potting shed. You see what I mean?
Did she tell you all that?
Indeed she did, and you know Mom is blithe to a fault. She still thinks bad people only do bad things to bad people. She's only wearing that silly lifeline because you and I are paying for it.
At least we have some peace of mind.
Not if she doesn't wear it. Are you still on the ramp?
I'm pulling into a gas station. I suppose I'll have to buy a 6-pack if I'm going to sit here for a while.
Poor baby.
All right. What do we do now? We can't move her tonight into an assisted living facility, even if she said okay, and you know how impossible that is. We don't even have a name of one, let alone know anything about it.
I am so worried.
What are you worried about? Getting Mom into an assisted living complex or noises right now?
The noises?
Mom could call 911. She could activate her lifeline. She could certainly call the neighbors. They're great friends.
That's the problem. She won't do any of that. Besides, the neighbors are away. Some cruise, I think. It's Greece because it's cheap right now.
Who's looking after their house?
Only the person taking care of their dog. I think he sleeps there, but he doesn't answer their phone if it rings. And oh, if only Mom would get a dog.
On stage, Henrietta, who has gone back to finishing her work, is oblivious as an intruder wearing a skull cap silently enters, throws a cloth over Henrietta's head and trunk, throws her to the floor, binds her hands and feet, removes the throw while he gags her mouth. Henrietta's cries are muffled and finally cease, but she struggles against her bindings. After turning off Henrietta's phone, he disappears off stage as he enters the greenhouse section. Henrietta continues to struggle.
We're not going there. Yeah, of course it would help, but that ain't in the cards, at least not now or in any immediate future. Margaret, what do you want me to do?
Let's start with your calling Mom. At least you can learn whether she's still in the potting shed, or if she's still hearing strange noises, you know what she's up to. Oh, and then if you can, you might lead her into other things like selling the house, moving to a place of assisted living. Oh, maybe she'd consider a condo.
I'm going to talk about all that in a casual 5 minutes. So how are you? Telephone call.
Well, right now, just the noises. Give her a call. Find out what you can, but call me back. I don't care if you call me loony bins, but call me right back, right away.
Okay, little sister. I'm sure this is a whole lot more nothing than you're making it, but I understand the worry, and I won't leave the parking lot till this is all finished.
Sounds indicate Howard is calling his mother, but is getting no response. As Howard dials, his mother struggles on the floor of the potting shed. Howard clicks the off tab and dials again. The sequence is repeated. A third time yields the same results. He then dials his sister.
Oh, thank God. What did you find out?
Nothing. I got no answer.
How many times did you call?
3 times.
Oh my God. Oh my God, something's wrong. I know it. Something is terribly wrong.
Margaret, get a grip. She simply didn't answer the phone, and there could be a million reasons, good reasons for that. Does mother often turn her phone off completely?
Hardly ever. She leaves it in the car rather than take it somewhere. Why?
First, are you okay? Can you hear me without falling apart?
Yes, but what?
In your Rolodex of emergency numbers for Mom, do you have the sheriff's number?
I think so, but wouldn't 911 be easier?
Not from where you are. If you have the sheriff's number, can you call him? Ask him to go to Mom's place and check on her because we're not getting a response. And, well, you know the story, but are you in shape to make the call? If not, tell me the number and I'll make it from my phone.
I can do it. I can do that, Howard. I'll call the sheriff.
Then call me back, even if it's only to tell me that you've been in touch with the sheriff.
Okay. Oh God, please don't let it be a misplaced phone or not Mom, not my mother. Oh, she's been through enough.
Sheriff Bannock's office.
Oh, please, could someone go check on my mother? She lives alone at 4123 Fox Hill Place. She's been hearing strange noises and now we're not getting any response. And I'm probably being a bit hysterical. In fact, I hope I'm being hysterical, but I am very worried.
In your mother's name?
Henrietta Mullen.
You did say 4123 Fox Hill Place?
Yes, in Morgan Township. She's outside the city.
I know. We'll be sending someone out there.
Oh, can you send someone immediately?
There's a deputy patrolling a ballpark near that address. We'll dispatch him to check on your mother.
Can I stay on the line while he checks on my mother?
Sorry, I cannot tie up the line. But be assured that we'll contact you as soon as we have made contact with your mother.
You have my phone number?
687-883-3435.
How do you know that?
It comes in with your call.
Oh, okay. Bye. Howard, I got hold of the sheriff's office. They're sending someone out. I'm so glad you thought of that.
I heard. Be sure to push your speaker button when he calls so I can listen. And I'll put my phone in conference mode. I got nothing when I called Mom.
Nothing?
That's why I asked you to find the sheriff's number.
Potting shed blackout as flashing lights and ruckus shouts and yells are heard off stage.
God, I'm sick to my stomach. I know something's happened. Oh.
Chill out, Margaret. That's not helping anything. Wait till you hear from the sheriff.
Stay on the phone.
You'd think I'd hang up now?
Margaret's phone rings.
Is she all right? Is she okay?
Your mother ever grow marijuana?
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 Our mother?
Her mother?
Where's mother?
Your mother's okay. Just shaking up a bit. Here, go ahead and talk to her. Ma'am, your daughter needs reassurance.
Lights come in the potting shed. Henrietta is a bit wobbly and supported by the deputy sheriff. She's rubbing her head.
I'm okay, but this has been an adventure.
Let me talk to the sheriff.
Hello, yeah. We have a male under arrest who had loaded up on what your mother says is feverfew. Now, he's either a druggie with cataracts or just dumb not to recognize the difference between feverfew and marijuana.
Oh, but mother's all right. Oh, thank God you got there so promptly.
Well, it was your mother's lifeline. She apparently triggered it when talking to you. The service called us, and fortunately, we were close by.
Mother, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You know this is it. We're having a board of directors meeting. Margaret, when can you get off?
A couple of weeks.
See you in 2 weeks, Mom.
Okay. It'll be good to see you.
You did give us a scare.
Oh, Mother, it was a terrible scare. But it's okay now. Howard, go on home. Mom, fix a nice pot of tea. Oh, before I leave this office, I'm calling Frank and telling him to have 2 martinis waiting at the door. Mom, you know this wouldn't have happened if only you would.
David, not now. Bye, Mom. Will you be able to sleep?
After a hot toddy, lots of toddy.
Night, Mom. Much love.
They love you, Mom.
I love you both.
Henrietta turns to the deputy.
Marijuana around here? This neighborhood?
Lady, it's a cash crop around here. Say, why don't I walk you to your house?
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Their conversation continues as they leave the shed.
Did you ever smoke marijuana?
Well, I'll put it this way. I'd never mistake feverfew for weed. Marijuana.
Blackout. End of play.
Yay! Let me get my video back on here. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you to all of the wonderful actors for that piece. I wish we could
pleasure.
have everybody have theirs. Yes, thank you very, very much. We have, if you want to use your lovely reactions at the bottom of your Zoom, you can also use what the wonderful Stage Rights people have been trained to do so far for our 12. You can share your feedback in the chat because, of course, as much as we would love to all laugh and be like we were when we were in person, we can't hear it. So it does make things very confusing. We've got loves, we've got laughs, we've got thumbs up, we've got claps. I have Jean, Mom, growing weed. That was very funny. People within the family. So Mark saying this sounds familiar, as well as I think it's Jocelyn. I hope I said your name right. Oh boy, board meeting. She's going to be in really trouble. Love this from Molly. This cast is awesome. So thank you, Molly. LOL, nice work from Jean. So very nice characters were so well defined through the dialect. Great cast from Rannigan. So you can, wonderful acting from Cynthia. So you can, in between the next two, if you want to share your feedback in the chat of the Zoom, or you can also use the chat of the Facebook live stream as well. I don't check the Facebook Live as often. I probably should. We have about 10 people watching too as well on Facebook. So that's great. So lovely tribute to a dear friend. I love it. Yay from Rachel Shantz. So without further ado, if you want to, yes, please use that side chat function if you want to share feedback in between each script, and then we'll open it up a little bit more at the end. But let us move on to our second script. And let me see where we are.
Hold on.
So if
Wait,
you
wait,
are
wait.
in the soggy sofa, oh,
Wait a
you need
minute.
a second?
I'm trying to get
yes.
my script up and I can't get it up. So maybe we should do Tony Bennett first.
Are all
Oh,
of the Tony
not-
Bennett actors ready to go? Yes,
what's
we
going
could do
on.
Tony Bennett looked at me, and then we could do.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
yes.
So,
yes,
like live Peter, we're gonna switch the order around a little bit. That's okay.
Where?
If you are,
Happened to
if
me.
you are in Tony Bennett looked at me, if you could turn on your video, and if you are not in Tony Bennett looked at me, if you could turn off your video and your sound, and I do believe it is Ed Walsh who will be reading the stage directions, and he will introduce our lovely cast. And we will go into our second 10-minute play, Tony Bennett Looked at Me, from Barbara. So I will go ahead and remove my spotlight, and Ed Walsh, the stage is yours. You are muted, Ed. I'm gonna unmute you.
Am I muted?
No.
No.
So now go ahead and start again at the beginning, Ed. You were muted when you started, so you're all set.
Tony Bennett Looked at Me
There
by
we go.
Barbara M. Harkness. The cast of characters: Frances, age approximately 70, played by Ann Cohen. Margaret, age approximately 70, played by Jane Madison. Janet, age approximately 70, played by Molly McFadden. Catherine, age approximately 70, played by Chris Courtney. Time, the present. The scene is a craft table in an assisted living facility. 4 ladies are gathered around a work table while working at various points of completion and frustration on paper mache chickens. All ladies are of a certain age.
I'd rather be playing gin rummy.
So who's stopping you?
3 other players.
You don't need 4 players for gin rummy. She does.
We don't have to make these idiot chickens.
Just so I don't miss my soaps. Oh, don't tell me something is going to happen. Hey, don't tell me anything is going to happen. Stephanie is going to find out about her husband. Oh, got AIDS. No, he's been cheating on her. Then he's got AIDS. Or better yet, he'll be afraid that he's got AIDS, even though he won't. But that should take him through another year of inaction. Perfect.
So she likes soaps. She's not hurting anyone.
Mic turned down.
It's as good as making paper mache chickens like we're supposed to be doing. Yours looks like it's on steroids, and how's mine gonna stand on spindly feet?
It can't. Take off the legs.
Can't do anything about it.
Then it looks like a pig.
Because its beak looks like a snout.
Who cares? They just want to keep us busy.
We'll never be busy in here.
Tony Bennett looked at me.
Is that the UPS driver's name?
I don't know what his name is. This was the real Tony Bennett, the singer.
Hard in San Francisco, Tony Bennett?
It was. He looked straight at me.
She's hallucinating.
Tony Bennett here? Where did you see him?
At the museum.
The museum?
What museum?
The art museum. A bunch of us went. on one of those group activities a bus takes us to, like the way they take us to the symphony, only this time it was the art museum.
Was he singing? Are you sure it was Tony Bennett?
You must have seen one of those lookalikes. Why would he go to an art museum?
I don't know why he was there.
And why would he look at you? You're no gorgeous blonde with big breasts. I mean, all right, you look all right, but you're okay for an old lady, but you sure ain't no glamour girl.
Maybe he was appearing nearby and had some time to kill.
Oh, and guys like Tony Bennett have time to kill, believe you me, they don't go to museums. And you know what guys like Tony Bennett do in their free time. It's your head. With his looks and his money and his testosterone, all he has to do is pick up one of his groupies. Oh, so much. Oh, I read magazines.
A lot more than read magazines.
Well, it's what I have to do now.
What did he look like?
He looked like Tony Bennett. He had gray hair and he was tan.
Whether he was Tony Bennett or not, it would have been worth thinking it was. Probably one of those California tans.
I don't tan. I just sunburn. If it really was Tony Bennett here in our town and in our museum, what did you do when he looked at you?
I looked away.
What? You looked away? How come you did that?
I didn't want to stare.
Should have gone up to him and asked him if he was Tony Bennett. And when he said he wasn't, you say, "Excuse me, you certainly look like the singer."
And if he was Tony Bennett, you could say, "I'm so pleased to meet you. I'm one of your fans."
Then you could ask him why he's in an art museum. Oh, no, that is too high school. It's better than stammering.
What was he wearing?
A suit.
With a shirt and tie?
Yeah.
Then it couldn't have been Tony Bennett. How come? If it really was Tony Bennett, he doesn't have to. He's not going to wear a suit and a tie. If he's off duty, he's going to wear jeans with a black turtleneck.
His tan, he'd be a lot sexier in a white turtleneck.
What kind of suit was he wearing?
I don't know. It was dark.
Probably expensive. I'll bet it was Italian silk.
Is he Italian?
What do you think that's amore is?
That was Dean Martin.
Oh, it's a good thing you girls aren't aiming to put your high heels under his bed. I can't wear high heels.
I don't really think that will be a problem. There's not the remotest chance of even a possibility.
What do you suppose he would have done if I'd said anything to him?
Well, he would have been polite, but he would have said, in effect, "Get lost."
But he looked at her. Maybe if she had curtsied or something, he would have asked her to have a cup of coffee or maybe a glass of wine. Italians drink a lot of wine.
Italians drink more wine than the French.
I wonder if he drinks red or white wine.
Red wine. He doesn't sing like a white wine drinker. And what would you have done Seriously, what would you do if Tony Bennett asked you to have a glass of wine with him?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it would be all right.
How does a white wine drinker sing?
And what would you do if he asked you to go to his hotel room?
Ooh, she'd go.
You would, but not Catherine. She'd probably think he really meant it if he suggested she might like to see his scrapbook.
She wouldn't realize what was going on if he came right out and asked her to go to his hotel room. Even if she did, she'd think he was really interested in her. Do you know what a groupie is?
Huh?
If only she said something, anything, she might have gotten a free ticket to hear him sing.
Maybe 4, and we could have all gone.
Oh, if he sang to me, he could have any kind of relationship he wanted.
Catherine, you missed your chance. You might have been Queen of the May, going places on the arm of Tony Bennett.
Would he take me to parties?
Well, he would. He would if you were in a relationship. However, you're at a party with Tony Bennett. Now, what do you do when he's being surrounded by drop-dead gorgeous women?
Who would you talk to? You don't know any of his cronies in show business.
Do you even know anything about show business?
Or Las Vegas? I'll bet you've never been to Las Vegas.
I've seen movies.
What do you see in movies? It's froth. Show business. It's ugly. It's nasty. It ain't paper mache chickens or pigs. And neither is Las Vegas.
How do you know so much about show business?
Magazines.
How's Catherine gonna deal with the naked chorus girls, crawling fingered gigolos, or sophisticated, beautiful bitches?
Can I borrow your magazines?
Don't show business people ever go to church?
They're never sober enough.
I'll bet Tony Bennett goes to church.
Why do you say that?
All Tony Bennett did. He sings like he goes to church.
All Tony Bennett did was look at Catherine. He didn't even say hello, let alone ask her to go to bed with him. I don't know why we're getting into all this fantasy stuff. We don't even know for sure if it was Tony Bennett.
We can wish.
Yeah, wish it were us instead of Catherine. Now that I want to take anything away from what you saw or did see.
I should have gone. I've never been to an art museum, but I should have.
Were there photographers with him? You know, the paparazzi?
I don't think so.
Then it wasn't Tony Bennett.
Was there anyone with him?
Well, I think there was another man, but I didn't look at him.
It's crazy. Why would Tony Bennett go to an art museum?
It was Tony Bennett. And if he did look at Catherine, and if Catherine would have introduced herself, which she didn't, and if he would have asked her to accompany him around the museum, which he didn't, and if he would have asked her to have a glass of wine or whatever with him, which he didn't, and if he would have asked Catherine to go out to dinner with him, which she didn't, what would you have done?
I'd have gone in a hot minute.
Catherine. Yes.
Well, I'm not dead yet.
What would you wear? You don't have glamorous clothes here, do you?
Oh, I'd have to buy a new dress.
Oh, you wouldn't have time to buy a new dress. His invitation would be a now kind of invitation. She'd have to go with what she was wearing.
What were you wearing?
Oh, I think it was jeans.
Your figure, you're in jeans, and he's in a suit. That's not gonna work.
What was your hair like?
The way it always is.
That's too bad.
And if you went to dinner with him, which you didn't, oh, what would you talk about?
Oh, well, I don't know. Kids, I guess.
Kids? Well, okay. I guess Tony Bennett's got kids, but do you really think he'll want to hear about yours?
He'll want to talk about his albums and his tours and Las Vegas and stuff like that.
Could invite him here.
Oh, come on. Tony Bennett here. You are out of your mind.
If Catherine can see Tony Bennett at the art museum, I can have him visit.
Not a good idea. The women would have cardiac arrest. Guys would fall over their wheelchairs just to prove they could get out of them. Pandemonium.
Have a little excitement. We might even be able to a little while we're here.
Tony Bennett doesn't seem to have anything wrong with him, and he's about our age.
Well, some people preserve better than we have.
And some people have the money to pay people so they can preserve well. Tony Bennett certainly has that kind of money.
Ladies, we really do have to clean up this table.
I'm giving up on this chicken with no legs that looks like a pig.
I really did see Tony Bennett at the art museum, and he did look at me.
Sure he did.
You want to believe you saw Tony Bennett at the art museum, then you did. What's the harm in her thinking she saw Tony Bennett?
Well, who's gonna believe her?
Who cares? We all have our fictions. We have to.
Well, did Tony Bennett ever look at you?
No, of course not. But I did do a few other things in my lifetime besides raise 3 kids, work 40 years, and bury a dead husband. And it's nice to remember some of those times.
I wish I had said something to Tony Bennett.
Oh, in your next life, sweetie. In your next life.
Margaret, Francis, and Janet get up from their chairs, scooping up some of their materials. Catherine gets up more slowly, absently repeating herself as she trails the other ladies.
I guess I could have said something to him. Suppose I'll ever get another chance? No, I don't suppose I'll ever get another chance. But I did see Tony Bennett.
Walks off stage, blackout, end of play.
Thank you so much. I know there was some sound. I was actually trying to fix it and I may have made it a little bit worse. So my apologies, but I think we got like most of it in there. So my apologies if the sound got a little strange, but what I was laughing, I know a lot of the comments in the string are how incredibly hilarious these ladies are. What an excellent cast of characters. Ladies, Agnes, I mean, you know, you're coming up next. You got your script up, you're ready to go.
Yeah, I am.
We're ready to go. Anne, Chris, Jean, oh my goodness. Molly, you guys, it's like, I feel like there's a sitcom coming out of the four of you at a table talking about things. It's quite funny. Loved it from Manolo. They were wonderful. So much fun from Mark Harkness. Rannigan, wow, well done. The actors are so funny. They do it so well. Wish I would have known the playwright. She has a wicked sense of humor. So this is Rachel, and a young spirit. I've laughed so many times. The characters are so funny. You're all hilarious. From Jacqueline, who's a new member of Stage Rights. This is hilarious, Molly. I love the way you say gigolo. That one made me laugh actually out loud a little bit. Bravo, everybody. Kudos to Barbara. What a fun and delightful reading this piece and this cast. These ladies were marvelous. Yes, I mean, I've got to give credit, you know, actors do bring an element to playwrights' works that is something that brings it to life. There, we can read a script on a page, but then when they, you know, actually give these characters breath and life, they are, without them, we would have no theater. Such big issues in life. Yes, that is true. Terrific dialogue. Poor Tony Bennett is now in a wheelchair. But Barbara makes us dream. Great acting. Thank you, Bernice. Thank you, everyone. It was great fun to read. Yes. Yeah. What a great topic to start a play on. Tony Bennett looking at a lady in an airport. Who would have thought? You know, there's such an imagination in Barbara's mind to turn that into a play of all these women at this table and give us such a wonderful delight. So thank you again, actors. If you, now our little kind of switched around order, if you are in the final script, Soggy Sofa, if you could please turn your video on and your sound on. And if you are not in Soggy Sofa, if you could please turn your sound and your video off. And then just to let everybody know before we get started with this final reading, I'll put a little bit of information in the chat, but if you go to that 10-minute play link that I left, that's going to update you on all the stuff that we're doing in our little 10-minute plays. You know, I'm still trying to plan to do stuff, but again, like all the theater companies, it's like, what's happening tomorrow? We're kind of planning to ideally open in the fall, should everything, you know, happen the way we hope it's going to. So again, you know, bear with us. We're doing the best we can. We want to make sure that everybody, when they do come back into our space, is safe. So stay tuned. But everything that we're doing within this 10-minute play series will be on that link. I'll also share in the link during this last reading a couple of other digital programming that we're doing, you know, very small programs here until we feel like we can go back to kind of what we did normally. So I'll share those as well if you want to support Ensemble through this crazy time. That would be wonderful. So I'll share that with you in the chat before we end.
Uh-oh.
The playwrights,
okay.
For Barbara for writing such wonderful scripts, for her family joining us and just portraying such a wonderful, you know, short synopsis of her life, which was so long and filled with so many things. You did such a wonderful job of like helping everybody see her, even though she had 90 wonderful years. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Barbara Harkness smiled at me. I love it. Yeah, that's another one. That's a good one. So thank you, everybody. You know, we wouldn't have this here if it wasn't for everybody involved. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart, because again, it's keeping me going. When your theater is shut down and you're trying to figure out how to do what you need to do, it's always good to be surrounded by wonderful people. So without further ado, I will let Rannigan introduce our final script and our final actors. And the stage is yours, Rannigan.
Soggy Sofa, a 10-minute play by Barbara Harkness. Harriet is played by Agnes Herman, and Janice is played by Kat Kenny. Soggy Sofa, Scene 1. Time, any Tuesday in the present. Place, well-maintained neighborhood of houses built in the 30s. The scene opens in the living room of Harriet Ryan. She is assiduously looking out her front window. Her daughter, Janice, is talking off stage from a half bath just off the living room in the entryway to the kitchen, not on stage. Only props needed are the window, center stage right, a door to the bathroom. Harriet is paying little attention to what her daughter is saying.
You have plenty of money. Why do you keep buying this cheap toilet paper? Doesn't it scratch your butt?
No answer. Harriet's eyes are fixated out the window.
Besides, it's so thin that you have to use gobs of it. That's what I call false economy.
Upon entering the room, Janice immediately appraises what her mother is doing and becomes apprehensive.
Mother, what is so interesting out your window?
Harriet answers at first only with shrugging body language.
Mother, what are you looking at?
Harriet turning to respond to Janice with a very big smile on her face.
That's that. It's gone.
What's gone?
The sofa.
Sofa? What sofa?
A bit of memory clicking in.
You mean,
Yeah, it was that soggy, rotting, mildewed, stinking sofa on Matilda Jennings' front porch. A blight on the neighborhood. It's gone now.
ha, I know you're happy about that. Every time I visit, you've complained about Matilda Jennings's ugly sofa on her front porch.
Well, it's a small step, but necessary if this neighborhood is ever going to be properly gentrified.
What did she do with it?
Harriet looks blank.
Whatever made Matilda Jennings finally decide to get rid of it?
Harriet shrugged, looking non-committal.
She'll never miss it. She acted like she didn't know it was there.
It was ugly. Surely she'll notice it. Mother, did you have anything to do with her decision to get rid of that sofa?
Now, why would you ask a question like that?
Because every time I stop to see you, you've complained about that sofa.
You just stopped by to check on me.
Of course I check on you. I also come to see and visit you. Now, what about Matilda Jennings's sofa?
Nothing at all. It's just gone.
When did all this happen?
The whole street looks so much better.
Stop avoiding my questions. When did all of this happen?
Today,
This morning?
I guess so.
How did all of this happen?
How would I know? Want some tea or rather have coffee?
Neither one. Not now. Mother, how did Matilda Jennings's sofa disappear?
It's time for my tea. Are you sure you don't want any?
Harriet moving around the room as though she might be on her way to the kitchen to prepare tea or coffee.
Answer my question. How was Matilda's sofa removed?
A truck came and got it.
And where was the truck from?
I didn't talk to the driver.
If you don't tell me what you may have had to do with this, I'm going next door and have a talk with Matilda Jennings.
Well, it's Tuesday. She's not home. Every Tuesday, her sister picks her up. They go to the mall, take in a movie, and eat at Russell's ice cream shop.
How convenient for you. Mother, what did you do?
Hardly anything. I just made a phone call.
Uh-oh. To whom did you make a phone call?
Just goodwill.
What did Goodwill say?
They said they'd pick it up.
they agreed to pick up a sofa on your neighbor's porch?
Mhm.
Mother, Goodwill doesn't just pick up a sofa on a neighbor's porch, only if it's your property.
Of course.
Did the Goodwill driver come to your house?
Why would he come here?
Because you were the one who. When you made that phone call, you identified yourself as Matilda Jennings, didn't you?
Harriet looks discovered.
Mother, that's fraud.
Only if it goes to court. Matilda's not going to go to court over a soggy sofa that's not even worth 10 cents.
It's not the value of the sofa that's at stake. It's the violation of her personal space.
We gentrified her personal space. Any judge would recognize that.
You don't have the right to gentrify or do anything to her personal space without her knowledge.
She was violating my personal space because I had to look at that ugly thing. Plus, it was the personal space of anyone who walked by. It was a blight on what they were looking at.
It's only cars that go by your houses, and they would have to be drunk if they were looking up and down to see what was on people's porches.
Well, it's done now, and we'll all live happily ever after.
What will Matilda say when she comes home?
She won't even notice it. She didn't notice it when it was there. Why would this make any difference?
You're going to be finding out soon enough. She'll get home sometime today. With luck, it'll be dark and she won't notice. Mother, you have just asked for a bucket of trouble.
I have cleaned up the neighborhood.
Janice preparing to leave.
Most of your neighbors wouldn't call it that. They'd say it was wrongful meddling.
Well, how would they know?
Well, I certainly won't tell them. And Goodwill has no idea, so you're off the hook in that respect. But I'm leaving you and your cleaned up neighborhood to the mercy of your neighbor. I suggest you sign some kind of peace accord.
I don't have any trouble with the neighbors. I'm a good neighbor.
Yeah, good conniving neighbor. You're impossible. But you're mine, and I'll do what I can to keep you out of jail.
Kisses her mother and exits. Harriet straightening the full length of her height.
She just needs some Russell's ice cream.
End of scene. Scene 2, Wednesday. The scene is the same as scene 1 a day later. Matilda is slowly pacing the room, looks out her front window, then goes to the phone, picking up the mouthpiece. Harriet, disguising her voice by adopting a dialect.
Is this a Mrs. Matilda Jennings? I'm a call on behalf of the Society for Renewing Furniture. We were acting on behalf of the city's neighborhood cleanup program, in which furniture left on front porches for more than 6 months is picked up and the resident is charged for the pickup cost. We picked up the sofa that had been left on your front porch for more than 6 months. However, because the frame of your sofa has restoration value, you will not be charged. Yes, that's right. Yes, you will not need to pay for any costs involved in the pickup, which would have been considerable given its rotten, soggy, wet, mildewed condition. We thought you would be happy to learn that it can be somewhat useful and it won't cost you anything. Thank you so much for your gratitude. Our aim is to do good. We wish you a good day and many good days to come. Goodbye.
Harriet looks around the room and exclaims,
Well, that's that.
end of scene, end of play.
Yes, let me unmute and let me start my video again. Thank you guys so much. Oh, such colorful characters and such a wonderful opportunity to, have you all bring Barbara's script back out to life. Actors do such a wonderful job of giving the characters such life and breath. Ladies both were delicious from Molly. That's an interesting description. Hysterically funny, great performances from Anne. Very nice job from Ife. Classic. A lot of wonderful feedback here. Oh, thank you, Rachel. So gracious for presenting your colleague and friend in this homage. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, I mean, that's part of kind of, the feeling of the theater that I inherited. So again, I always remember those people are with us always, I think, in a lot of ways. And theater is a good way to kind of remember, those things in life. Even, when you think of how we interact as human beings, theater is a wonderful outlet to remember. I feel my mom is always with me every time I hear a play being read because she was the theater creator. But all the different ways that, we create theater keep us so connected as human beings. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that as well. Bravo, Barbara, and the crew, wonderful memories, and hello to her family. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Bernice. Very clever and funny. Agnes and Kat, you were great. Cracking up, LOL from Jean. Well done all. Barbara would have been so pleased. It was an honor to be part of tonight. It was delightful to get to know Barbara through her work. And I mean, thank you too to the family for your sentiments. I mean, there's always that unique experience that families have. And then we, knowing her as a playwright and an artist, have just been, blessed to have her be part of our ensemble family as well. I've always looked at it as an ensemble, a group of people who kind of, come together as a little bit of a family as well. So she was definitely part of our family in that respect. One more quick here. I miss her wit and her joy and to know her. I miss her wit and it was a joy to know her, from Kat, who just read in our final piece. So yeah, like really there are threads that connect us all, aren't there? And theater is, I think, a big part of that. So it was wonderful to have her be part of our history as an organization, to be part of our stage rights unit. I hear so many people, my mother, the gentrifier from Eric, from Agnes's son. I think too, it gives you an opportunity to really become part of an ensemble and carry those people and their artistry and their memories and their lives with you in a lot of ways. I do know the stage rights unit, looks at each other as a family in a lot of ways too. So they carry each other and they help each other become better artists, which I think is wonderful. So thank you all for joining us. I will actually let you know that we're going to we usually do these every other week. So the week right after Easter would be the next time we were supposed to do a Monday night. We're going to skip that Monday and do it again, I believe would be April 12th. So just FYI, we're going to skip the week after. So I know we do these every 2 weeks. We're going to meet again in 3 weeks, just to give everybody a little space for the holiday. So I just wanted to let everybody who was on here know that. I'll of course share that as well on our website, on the 10-minute page website as well. But I wanted to let all the stage rights people who are here know, our audience here know. And then we'll share that again, of course, in our meeting on Wednesday nights. And keep an eye on Ensemble's page. I'll actually share with you a really quick link to the next virtual program. These are 2 short plays that we're doing at the very beginning of April. If you care to join us, one's by Lynn Nottage, and the other one is by Lisa Langford. These are both Black female playwrights. So it's a short play. They're 2 short plays that we're doing as an evening of theater for 4 nights in a row, and then we'll have a talk back afterward. So I put the link for that in our link is in the chat as well. So if you want to check that out, our website is always a wonderful place to check up on us and update us and see how things are going, when we plan to open, all of those kind of wonderful things, as we still navigate COVID. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're not quite there yet, but to stay posted on, what Ensemble is doing, how we're navigating through this whole thing, and when we can be in person again. I do see Agnes is raising her hand, so I'll let her have the stage for a minute. Go ahead, Agnes.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Dennis and Laura for talking to me so many times in getting this organized. We were just so delighted to do this. I loved your mom so much. I still miss her. Sometimes I swear we would have meetings before we had to stop, meeting in person, and we felt like she was there with us. We honest to God did, and I loved her to pieces. Paul wants to say something.
I also wanted to say, and I think that this is very important for any of us. I mean, we all treasured Barbara as a member of the group, but also as an actor. I think it's important to point out, I have met very few people in my life that loved and appreciated actors as much as Barbara did. She was always so kind and complimentary and thoughtful and appreciative to anyone who read her work. And I also have to say that I feel that my life has been immeasurably enriched by having known her.
Amen.
Thank you, Paul. I can say that in my experience from the first time I think we created Stage Rights about 8 years ago, and my role as the artistic director some 10 years ago, like this group has been such a staple of my 10 years of being the artistic director. There are some other things that have come and gone. And really, she was a staple of my Wednesday night office hours. I would sneak into the room where you guys were all reading. And, she has been such a wonderful part of our history as an organization. And so I again, have such an appreciation for her as a person, her work, her dedication to us. So, I mean, I can't thank her enough for how much she's enriched our process as a unit and as a theater as well. So what a tremendous honorific this has been. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, Paul, exactly as what Kat has shared. Thank you for your comments, Paul and Agnes. You are so right. Thank you also for working to put this together. Yes, huge thanks to Agnes. She really was the driving force to help me coordinate this. So I thank her a million times. She is also very helpful with this whole 10-minute series. Her and Cindy have been my left and right hand so many times. With all the other stuff we're navigating, it's been really wonderful to have their help with this as well. So again, I say thank you to you all for joining us this evening. We will archive this video and it will get put on that page. So the 10-minute page link that I shared with you in the chat, there will be an archive of tonight's video and it will be up there and you can share that link. So if for any reason you lost internet connection or you weren't able to come tonight and you want to share that with somebody who might be able to see it at a later time, it usually takes me about a day or two to get them uploaded, but that will be archived on our page, the 10-minute plays as well. So you'll be able to watch this again if you need. Thank you all so much from the family. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you so much. This was a special and a very wonderful, a very great evening of plays. Thank you all for making this happen. From Jean, yes, I agree with that sentiment as well. Join us again on April 12th and keep that link, the 10-minute page link, as your way to be updated on what we'll be doing for our next series. Again, we're going to skip that 5th just to give everybody a little bit of a break after the holiday. So we'll be meeting again in 3 weeks instead of 2, and then we'll alternate every 2 weeks after that until hopefully in the summer we can do things in person again. I'm crossing my fingers. Thank you all. Have a good evening. I will hang out here until everybody's done sharing. And I'll read these as we all are kind of making our way out. It was wonderful to be with Barbara this evening. I miss her, from Anne. Thank you, Dennis and the family. Don't forget to share those scripts from Kat I'll email everybody after this, definitely for sure. Manolo, thank you all for a wonderful time. I really enjoyed the performances. Thank you for joining us. And we loved your mom, and we'll look forward to the opportunity where maybe we could do another one of her pieces again in the future. So my love to you all. Have a good rest of your Monday night, and we'll see you again soon. If you are not vaccinated, please do so, so that we can all be in person again as soon as possible. My love to all the actors, to the Stage Rights Unit, and to the and Barbara's family. Thank you guys all for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again soon. Bravo to all. I will say, as everyone goes, my love to everyone. Great to see everyone. Thanks, guys. And I'm gonna actually end the Facebook live stream, and then I'll leave